So hello guys, what is up? I'm your host Abhishek Chaudhary and welcome to the channel Code with Rapper. In this lecture, we are going to learn the concept of variables, and this is some basic lecture. So let's begin. So guys, what is a variable? A variable is a container. We give some name to this container, and this container stores some piece of information. Okay, that name can be used as a reference to access or modify that piece of information. The value which is stored inside a variable can be a JavaScript data type like numbers, strings, or objects. Those data types, we will see what data types are there in JavaScript. Okay, so those are the piece of information which a variable stores, and we give some kind of name to it as a reference. Okay, so prior to ES6, which was ECMAScript 2015, there was only one way to declare a variable. Okay, it was var. Using var, this keyword, we used to declare the variable. But after ECMAScript uh, 6, ES6, what happened? We got some new keywords like let, var, constant, const. uh, Using these three, we now declare the variable. Okay, so now we can define a variable using these var, let, and const also after ES6. Let's use var keyword to understand the concept of variable. Okay, for now. So this is my file here, index.html, and one file script. It is app.js, and this is inside this script folder. Okay, so this is my project structure. So let's begin. When this HTML will be loaded, on the bottom we have this script. This external script will be loaded here. Okay, so we can play around with variables inside this script, as we know. So let's declare a variable. Okay, var country equals to India. Okay, so what this says is here we have few parts. Okay, like this var keyword is being used to declare a variable. Okay, and the name of the variable is country. We also call it as an identifier of the variable. Okay, and this assignment operator, what you see, this assignment operator, it is used to assign a value inside a variable. Okay, so what happens if I say var country equals to India, then this India, from right side to the left side, this India will be stored inside this variable. Okay, means somewhere inside our memory system, we will have this data stored, and one reference will be like pointing towards this data, and that is our country, the identifier. Okay, that's all, and that's why we call it an identifier. Okay, the value is assigned here is our India. Now JavaScript will remember that there is a variable country whose value is India. Okay, so we can use the variable to access, or we can use this variable to access or modify the data. We can even reassign the variable with a new value. Okay, so if we want to reassign this variable, let's try to first console it in the browser. Okay, so let's say my variable and country. Okay, now we will run it. Let's see what magic happens. You won't see anything on the DOM, but yeah, in the console something should be printed out. Okay, my variable is India. Okay, yeah. So if I want to reassign it, suppose later on what happened, I changed my country and it became USA. Okay, so country will be updated with new value. Okay, and now the country will be USA if I console it. Okay, so this has changed to USA. Okay, so yeah, this is how we declare a variable, and there are lots of other things also, like declaring by let, var, and const. We will go through that, no worries. Okay, so this is the concept behind it. Means if we want to declare a variable, uh, this is how we declare and assign at the same time. Okay, this is uh, declaration and assign the variable at same time. Okay, so this part is like if we say var pin code. Okay, so this is called as declaration of variable. Okay, this is called declaration of variable. If we give some value towards it, if we store some value inside this variable, then we call it as assigning. Okay, like later on we changed it, like pin code is now something, this number. Okay, so we are assigning here. Okay, by using the assignment operator, what you see here, equals to. Okay, so let's move to the next concept, naming convention of the variable. Means you cannot give the name what you like to a variable. There are some constraint and you need to follow it in order to name a variable. Okay, suppose let's say var country. Okay, there are a set of rules to declare a variable, and we call it the syntax of something. Okay, so the syntax to declare a variable. Okay, the variable name should be like letters, numbers, and you can use dollar sign inside your variable, or the underscore. Okay, numbers, letters, and dollar and underscore, these are permitted. Okay, while naming your variable. So variable name should be letters, numbers, dollar sign, and underscore. Variable should not be including in, means not having any spaces or tabs. Okay, try not to give any space. Suppose country name, this is not a correct variable name. Okay, this will show error. So what you can do is either say it like this, country name. Okay, so we call it camel casing. Camel casing means we start with lowercase here, and if some partition is there with the name, we give a capital letter start. Okay, so variable name should not contain white spaces. Variable name should not start with numbers also. Okay, like okay, this is not a correct variable name. Okay, variable name should not be reserved keywords. Okay, like there are reserved keywords, like we are declaring this variable with using this keyword var, so we must not uh, write our variable name as a var. Okay, this is like that. JavaScript has a few defined names, few defined letters to have some what do we see, what do we say, the reserved keywords, means those keywords are particularly identified as something else. For JavaScript, those are reserved for the this programming language. Okay, like if for while this function, the function keyword, JavaScript uses this function name, function keyword, to write a function. So you must not write your variable name as a function. Okay, this please don't use it as a function. You can write function my function. Okay, function my function. Okay, so these are different. Or variable my function, where my function, and we declared a solid variable here. Okay, so this is permitted. And the main important thing about this is variables are case sensitive. Okay, so if you write a variable this India and variable country India, so both are totally different things. Means this country with a smaller case in C and the uppercase in this C, means both the variables are totally different. It will be considered different by the JavaScript. Okay, yes, if you write again small c, means it is the same variable. But if you are writing here capital C, means this is a different variable and this is a different variable. Okay, so it is JavaScript is case sensitive with this variable names. Okay, so yeah, those are the things. uh, both the variables will be having the memory at different locations. If you declare the variable with small c country and the larger c uppercase c country, both data will be stored in the memory location differently at different spaces. Okay, so JavaScript will understand that both the variables are totally different. We are not talking about the same variable. Okay, so yeah, this was the information which was must to be known. And yeah, and another thing that we should keep in mind is the camel casing. Better programming language means it's something that we should follow in order to write a good script. Okay, a professional script, we can say. Will and the others developer will appreciate you if you use the proper camel casing. So these were the things about concepts about this variable. And yeah, thanks for watching this lecture. And we will learn a lot more in the next upcoming lecture. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye, take care, enjoy.